All right, where is this course? Ravislow is in Homewood, Illinois, which is a small suburb right just kind of south of Chicago.
I feel like you're kind of somewhere different other than downtown Chicago. You get out of the city.
What is the history of this course? Great question. The backstory on Ravislow is that it was built in 1901, or opened in 1901. It was a Donald Ross course. And really, when you kind of look at it through that lens, it doesn't feel a lot different than a lot of other, kind of Chicago old private clubs. And that's what it was. It was private for around 100 years. It was purchased by a private owner who was a veterinarian.
When our owner, Dr. Claude, bought the facility 11 years ago, he's not a golfer, which is a weird, thing at first, but, he loves the trees and the nature and the aesthetics of the place. So he wanted to keep that.
And he bought it and decided basically, hey, why would I compete with all of these other Donald Ross private Chicago golf clubs? Let's try to make this thing public. So now you show up and it still has all these private club amenities. I mean, you drive in and it feels like you're pulling into a private course. The clubhouse feels like a private course. It's got this old, almost kind of shining Stanley Hotel vibe to it. Everything is very old, very classic.
The construction is a little bit older, so it's just different. Bunkers are designed a little bit different now than they are on our golf course. So it's a whole new experience than what a golfer would typically see. And of course, it's was built in the 80s or the 90s when we had the big boom.
The other point about it is it's never really jam-packed here. It's always a good round that moves pretty quickly.
What did you think of the course? The course was spectacular.
Gettable course. It's short, so
you could go out there as a scratch golfer and have an awesome time trying to shoot 65, and you could go out there as someone who's never picked up a golf club before and not lose any golf balls and keep it in front of you. It's probably like the most walkable course in America. I had a cart because I was lugging around my camera and the drone and a bunch of other stuff, so feel free to judge that if you like. When I played out there, it was really soft, so the angles and stuff weren't quite as magnified, but you could still really miss in the wrong spots just because there's so many trees out there and stuff.
You know what? He loves trees. Claude's very green. He's in this place has got some trees that you just don't see in the area much. Several of our trees on this property are 200-300 years old. So as a golfer, sometimes that's not good, but for a guy that is like Claude.
A full restoration tree removal project is probably not in the future.
Well, no, we actually just started. Yeah, so we had an arborist come in actually about a week and a half ago, and there's some species that aren't real good for a golf course. So we've got about 350 trees that we're going to be taking out and then putting in better species for a golf course.
My favorite hole, there were a couple. The fifth hole, I think, was my favorite. It was short. It was only about 315 yards from the back tees. A lot of trees that probably weren't there originally, but it kind of makes it into this semi-dogleg, even though you could probably just fly everything if you really wanted to. A couple of different cross bunkers that really make you think. The pin was sitting in this awesome bowl though. That was another cool thing about the greens was, to the eye, they don't look all that cool, but you get up there and they're so subtle and there's so many cool little ridges and cool little pin placements, and 5 was a perfect example of that. 8 was another one of my favorite kind of golden age things is deception bunkers. Before everybody had scummy rangefinders, these guys would mess with your eye so much more by making you think that a greenside, like a bunker, was greenside, when really it's not. Maybe there's 30 yards between the bunker and the front of the green. Kind of messes with the club you feel comfortable hitting and all that stuff. So I thought 8 was a grower for sure. What did you shoot? Bogeyed the last to shoot 80 should basically be on my tombstone. That's about as predictable as sunrise right there. I will remember, I don't know that I've ever been to a public golf course that so obviously used to be an old private club, and that is a really weird, really, really, really cool vibe. And you pull up and you just have this like country club feel without any of the pretension, without any of the exclusivity.
So it's always this challenge of attracting new public golfers, but trying to make them feel like they're a member for the day, if you may. And like I said, what's not to like? If you look around this place, you know, you don't see it. It's not cookie cutter.